the Jets looking for a veteran quarterback and making no bones about it. They're looking for a veteran guy. Joe Douglas, the GM of the team, said it this week. Here's Robert Saleh, not at the Combine, but still doing a press conference on Zach Wilson's future with the Jets if and when they add a veteran quarterback.
If you acquire a veteran quarterback who's like in his early 30s, who's going to stick around for a while, you would presume, where does that leave Zach in terms of the Jets, like 2 years down the road? Like, what's his future then?
That's a good question, Rich. It's you can't look at it that way. You guys know me. It's stay in the moment and try to do everything we can to help everyone get better, be the best version of themselves they can be. So whether we bring in a guy who's in his early 30s and he's going to be here for a while. The focus is to just help him get better as best as he can. And if his best gets to be showcased here as a New York Jet, awesome. If not, it's still awesome, because all we want is what's best for him and his development. No different than any other player on our roster. That's our job to make sure that we're doing everything we can to help them find ways to reach their max potential as coaches. And then Joe and his staff, their job is to continue to push the envelope and finding players who can continue to maintain that standard. So, so to answer your question, I don't have it for 2 years from now. I don't know what that means. I just know our focus is to try to help him get as best as he can.
And look, I accept that explanation. I like Robert Saleh. I trust that he's telling the truth. I just wonder whether some in the organization look at this Zach Wilson situation and think, we don't really want another Geno Smith. We don't want, because maybe the best thing for Zach Wilson right now is the ultimate indignity of being thrown out. Like when I mentioned this yesterday, when the Eagles did it to Chris Carter, when he needed a wake-up call, and the ultimate wake-up call was you're fired, and he goes to Minnesota and he becomes a Hall of Famer. If Zach Wilson needs that to reach his full potential, are there forces within the organization that are resisting that because they don't want to be embarrassed by Zach Wilson going somewhere else and becoming a star player? I can understand why they would feel that way, but it's truly not in the best interest of the player if you're holding back the thing that you think you need to do to get this kid's attention. And this is common to football. You always want the guy to have the epiphany before you fire him. I think that's why the Vikings held on to kicker Blair Walsh far longer than they should have. They wanted him to wake up short of kicking him out the door. And then they kicked Daniel Carlson out the door prematurely, and he went on to become a great kicker with the Raiders. So I think that mindset creeps into these decisions. I just hope they're not squatting on Zach Wilson for fear that he's going to go somewhere else and become a Geno Smith and make the Jets look bad.
Oh, but it also did take Geno Smith years and years down the line to then make the Jets look bad, right? But I understand what you're saying.
But still made the Jets look bad.
Yes, I guess so. But look, with Zach Wilson, I feel like we all know that it's not really going to work with him and the Jets, at least with this current regime. It's not. You don't have what he went through last year and being benched for Chris freaking Streveler, of all people. It's really hard to come back from that. It's really hard, at least in my mind, to think that team and that brass is going to believe in you ever again when they replaced you with that guy in that situation. And there was reason for them to bench Zach Wilson for Chris Streveler at that time in that game. So, it's been the yo-yo effect, right? It's Zach Wilson, it's Mike White, it's Zach Wilson, it's Joe Flacco, it's this, it's that. And it's just clearly not working yet with those guys and with Zach Wilson. So, if I'm him, there's a chance that I just would be like, dude, trade me, cut me, do something. But I don't want to be here anymore, And maybe that wouldn't look the best for him in terms of what his image is and his reputation is. But we all understand that the best thing probably for both parties is for the Jets to let Zach Wilson go. And whether or not he turns into something else, you just got to let the consequences be damned, I think.
Chris Streveler. I'm screwing up my bit. I'm trying to set up my bit, and I completely screwed it up. Anyway, Chris Streveler, CS, same initials as catching strays, because he caught a stray from Myles Simmons there. Man, bench for, of all people, Chris Streveler. Jeez, that guy won a Grey Cup. How dare you? Okay,
he was elevated off the practice squad. Come on. I'm sorry.
I know. I'm just playing around. Mike White is due to become a free agent. Robert Saleh said that White should be on the Jets roster in 2023. That's a little presumptuous. I mean, maybe one of these teams out there is thinking, we like the cut of this guy's jib, whatever that means. We want to bring him in. We want to give him a chance to compete. We see him as a guy who could really get it done, and they love that guy in the locker room. I just think that just complicates everyone's life. I feel like the Jets need a hard reset at the quarterback position. Move on from everyone. Wilson, White, Streveler. All of them gone. We're going to start over because that whole Mike effing White dynamic that's already in the locker room, if he's still on the team, they're not going anywhere. So now you just assume that they're going to ditch Mike White for Derek Carr or Aaron Rodgers or whoever. And maybe they will. I remember when there was reportedly a schism in Minnesota about Tavares Jackson versus Brett Favre. And then Favre showed up for practice one day and started slinging it around, and there wasn't a schism anymore. So maybe that's the only way the Jets salvage this. We got these guys who have already been here, but we're upgrading so dramatically that it's obvious right away we can go ahead and burn the Mike effing White T-shirts.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that Mike White might be best served by moving on, as the Jets might be best served by moving on from him too. And I think you're right about the hard reset at the quarterback position for the New York Jets. And also, I mean, keep an eye on the Los Angeles Rams for Mike White. I mean, I know Jordan Rodriguez of The Athletic has reported this, that they will likely be interested in him, given the fact that Michael LaFleur is now the Rams offensive coordinator. And obviously he was calling plays for Mike White with the New York Jets before. So I do think it's a little presumptuous for Saleh to be like, hey, yeah, he should be back. I don't know about all that.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.